Hello. This is going to be my second part of the video that I wanted to do yesterday, talking about the difference between the Revenge of the Fallen Leader class Optimus Prime and its counterpart. Well, not really the counterpart, but the Studio Series Optimus Prime, and basically a little bit more of my rant on how I'm really not too thrilled over the newer Transformers nowadays. I do spend less money on them, just overall in general. When I started getting back into collecting after the 2007 movie, like I said again, I think this is like peak Optimus Prime from the movie. Versus, I personally don't care what others say. People get excited about the Bumblebee Optimus Prime. Yeah, it was a good design, but again, there's issues I think with those figures too because that plastic on it feels really, really soft. Um, so that to me was a bit of a disappointment. Yeah, I do dig the bigger uh, Transformers, honestly, like they used to be back when I was, like I say, getting back into it. Um, I mean, the size of this Optimus Prime, I think, is just great. I love the Peterbilt 379 that they use to be the Optimus Prime vehicle now, instead of the cab over Freightliner he was back in the 80s. I think this is a great update. They're beautiful rigs. Um, I love it's pretty much. I mean, they captured it pretty well, honestly, in toy form. And in this one, much better than the leader class they released for the first movie. I have that too, but he's kind of like fixed in a diorama. Um, that's kind of like how it started with me going downhill. My Transformer obsession was building a diorama based on the first movie. Yeah, you can see now, like over time, who knows? I mean, this could be cigarette smoke related about the discoloration. It's on this side on the bed as well as the other side, and this one, unfortunately, the panel cracked right here on this peg, and it's barely held on. It's a kind of dried crooked, but I don't care. I have seen broken Optimus Primes sold at Savers over the years, and I never picked one up, and I should have because I could use it to swap out parts on this thing now. But again, it's my favorite in my collection. Um, One of the things too that I also love about this is looking at it. Unless you really studied this goddamn thing, you wouldn't know that this transformed into a robot. I mean, this just looks like a model truck or a toy truck, for God's sakes. I love the fact that two electronics, which they don't have in Transformers anymore. I mean, the smokestack's a little warped, but it's a softer rubber. But I mean, it's technically it's been warped since I bought it. Um, I've never tried taking a heater or I should say hair dryer to it and try to straighten it out. But I mean, yeah, overall, I think this came out pretty well. It's not really until yeah, flip it over that you see, the glaring robot bits. Obviously his legs and those parts that spread out to his feet. I mean, overall, I think this is just phenomenal. Now, compared to like the Studio Series Optimus Prime, I mean, to go from this, the engineering that went into this figure to flawlessly go from robot mode to truck mode to this, um, yeah, they're disappointing nowadays. I think honestly, the fact that they can't get rid of the feet, those are just his feet on top of the back of the truck with a trailer hitch in the middle of it. Was it the fifth wheel they call it? You can tell details on the side that those are his legs. I was never really cared for this piece right here. This never seems like it fits correctly. They got all this extra junk too on the bottom of it. Seems to be level with the table or floor or whatever you have the goddamn thing displayed on. Again, these pieces back here, which I guess shin pieces, those always hang too low. And it never seems like, no matter how many times they transform this, it never seems like it wants to line up correctly. And that's another issue too I've noticed with a lot of the newer Transformers. Not so much the Studio Series line, like any of them. It's very rare that I've transformed them right out of the package. Dude, like the pieces seem to like want to line up correctly. They seem like they're always warped or something's off. No matter how many times you do the transformation, nothing ever seems to fit together correctly. I have issues here, as you can see, with the grill. Doesn't want to close up properly, but when you get this part connected here, it splits down the front. So if you try to squeeze this piece, it doesn't want to lock up anymore. That's always an issue. And then when you start messing with that, the wheels don't want to connect on the front. So, I mean, I'm constantly fighting with this goddamn thing. I mean, 90% of the time, or probably more than that, more than 90% of the time, I'll probably say 95, 90, almost 100% of the time, I'll just say that. These guys just stay in robot mode, and I barely ever transform them back and forth between robot and vehicle, only because, like I said, there's too much of a fucking headache to deal with this shit, trying to get all these bits and pieces to fucking line up correctly. And like I said, that seems like it's an ongoing issue with Transformers just in general now. I don't know if I could pinpoint like a time that I noticed it happening more. Probably wasn't until like maybe after Dark of the Moon, I think. I kind of noticed the shift in the Transformers quality control, maybe. I don't know, the engineering. Something always seems to be off. No, I don't know if I go that far back, but I would say definitely in the recent years, the last couple of years, probably noticing it more with the start of the Studio Series. How many years ago that was? It seems like there's more and more Transformers in the Studio Series line, in just the basic, whatever the standard Transformer line is at the time. It always seems like there's more issues with, at least to me, at least what I've dealt with. I don't know if you guys have, but it always seems like there's more issues of the pieces not really wanting to lock together right, not lining up correctly, unless you really got to force it. That I'm always afraid of fucking breaking these goddamn things. Trying to force these pieces together. So when I transform them, I get them as close as possible to like the final result I can. I just leave it. Like I said, I don't really want to try to force. I mean, this drives me crazy though. It really does. That the grill doesn't like to close. I don't know if that's just because he's in robot mode all the time and he's just getting warped, or just standing there on the shelf, the plastic warps. I don't know. It probably does. I mean, my room tends to get sometimes, especially now when it's New England, it's going to be hot. It's going to be humid in summertime. I always try to get some sort of fan going or some sort of AC or whatever. Can't have the AC on all the time. Try to have at least a fan in my room to try to keep everything comfortable. I mean, yeah, warpage does happen with some of my figures, and some just because they're just standing there, they do warp a bit. But I mean, I don't think that's the fault of my room in general, because honestly, this guy's older than this one, and there's less warpage happening with him. Even if that's the issue, or like I said, is it just the engineering that's just not making everything lock up as tight as it should? I don't know, but yeah, that's really kind of my points I wanted to make. If I had a better system when I record these videos, like I said, I'm just recording these on my phone. So of course, if my memory on my phone isn't going to allow me to do a full length video that I wanted to do, like I didn't want to have a second half. I mean, obviously I would have, and I don't really have any good editing software, of course, because again, it's just on a phone. I don't have like a good computer set up or anything for that type of stuff to do like a smooth transition of the full video and a transformation, because I'll admit, even though I have tons of Transformers, I still fumble around the transformations because I don't remember exactly how everything goes, because I don't pick these up and transform them all the time. I'll transform them a few times when I first get them and then just normally set on my shelf. So that's why these videos, especially this video, was split in half. I talked about the robot modes and I talked about the vehicle modes. So yeah, done rambling. Do all the fun stuff, like, comment, share, thumbs up, all that fun shit and everything else. And video's over. Get the fuck out of here.